If you guys have been following along with my most recent build series that I've got going on the channel, my Tacoma camper build, you know I've got a short bed 2020 third gen Toyota Tacoma, and I'm going for a camper setup, a short bed truck camping setup. And this isn't the first version. I've actually built my truck in several different versions over the past few years. But this time I'm trying to keep it as lightweight as possible. If you remember, some of my past setups have been super heavy on the back of my truck, and I had to add, bigger leaf springs on the back. I added airbags to try to help with the rear weight. And I said, this time we're going lightweight, and I'm trying to choose lightweight things as I'm building this thing up. And I found something pretty cool this week, and I'm gonna share it with you guys. So if you're familiar with the overlanding world, 270 awnings, they're pretty big and they're pretty heavy. This is a 270 awning, just like what I've been running on all my other setups, except for, as you can see, this 270 awning is super lightweight. A lot of people don't know about this awning, and it's called the Trail Series 270 awning by Open Road. I've had the other Open Road 270 awnings, which y'all have seen here on the channel, and they are awesome. They're absolutely great awnings. I love them to death. They are a bit heavier. I think this is 70% lighter than a traditional 270 awning. Same full length, it's just built with lighter materials. It's a little bit thinner, and you'll see that we'll be able to run it on the side of my new setup, and I'm not adding that much weight. Usually when you add a 270 awning to the side of your truck, you have to make sure that your brackets are right. You got to beef up everything because it's a lot of weight kind of dangling off the side of your truck. We don't have to worry about that so much. I am going to have to change up the way that I'm mounting it because I don't have a bed rack with a separate rooftop tent, that I've recently put on that new all aluminum truck bed camper from Open Road. And I've got to have a different way to mount it. So these are what comes with it. I'm going to show you guys up close here in just a minute. This is what comes with 270 awnings, which is great. These are what mount to roof rack bars. They mount like this, and then the awning hangs off the side of this plate. Well, we can't use that because I don't really have a rooftop tent. I've got a camper now. So they did release a new product on Open Road to fix that problem, and you can use these with rooftop tents. It's a really good way to mount an awning directly to your tent. So you can mount your awning to the side of your tent. That way, if you want to take your tent on and off your truck, you don't have to take the tent off, then take the awning off separate. And that helps a lot, because if you've ever had to do that, you know that every time you take that awning on and off, you've got to get it positioned just right every time and go through the whole spiel of making sure everything's square and lined up. This bracket eliminates that issue. These brackets will mount directly to the side of the tent. The awning mounts to this, and then when you take the tent on and off, you get to take the awning with it. Plus, since I'm pairing this with this really lightweight, I don't know how much it weighs. I'll put it on the screen right now. But compared to other awnings, you're not going to find one lighter than this online. I can't wait to get it set up. The fabric is a little bit different than their standard 270 awning, but it's actually, I think, a gray color, so it should match the truck pretty good. So we're going to get that installed today. And I've got a few other things that I want to show you guys. I really didn't plan on filming this part. I'm fixing to put all this on my truck, and then I was going to make a video kind of walking you guys around the new setup before we take it out for the first time. But I wanted to, it'd be hard for me to show you guys how light this thing actually was with it already mounted on the truck. So at least now you're getting to see how lightweight this is. But it's called the 270 Freestanding awning. It's got the same built-in lights you're going to see in this episode, and it's got the leg poles, but you can choose not to use them and just have it freestanding, wrap it around the bed of your truck. And it comes with everything you need. I'm gonna walk you guys around and show you up close, because I got some other cool stuff from Open Road that I want to show you that I'm going to be adding to this setup, and it's all going into the my scheme of being super lightweight. So this is their, I think, 102 liter storage case. And it is awesome. This is how I'm going to store the camping gear. I've got 2 of these, and then I've also got a couple of their 50 liter boxes, and they're already mounted in the Tacoma. I'll show you how I got those mounted up. But what's cool about these is they're watertight, they're airtight. They got a nice seal, and I've even got the molly panel that I've got to mount on the inside. So this will actually hold a ton of gear. But let me show you up close. I'm going to show you the awning, I'll go over really quick how I'm gonna mount all this stuff up, and then we're gonna get it put on the truck and check it out today. So I really didn't plan to film this part, but I'm glad I am now, so you guys get to see it before it's all hooked up on the truck. But this is those new storage cases they have on Open Road. And they've got 4 latches. You can lock these things. They even got if you get water in them or whatever, they got a drain tube right here because they're roto molded, you know, they're solid. And they've got struts, a big handle here. What's really cool about them though, is you can strap them down through the sides and it not block the opening. See how I can run a strap right here through this little groove, and you can strap it down. It's even got a little bottle opener on the side here, but the struts open it up. And I've actually got 2 of these cases, and I've got their mounts that you mount these to the side of your track on, you know, on your camper shell or on the roof of your truck, and then they lock in and you can actually quick detach them in and out. And I've even got the molly panels. I don't have it installed yet. I'm gonna be doing that this week sometime. But today, mainly I wanna focus on getting this lightweight awning installed. And I can show you these brackets up close. So if you're familiar with 270 awnings, you know that this is the style brackets that you get. And let's just say this rib right here was the crossbar on top of your roof. They would mount like this off the side of your truck, like this. And then your awning would mount right here. And this awning mounts the same way. Let me move this stuff and I'll flip it and show you. It's got the tracks on the back, just like all the other 270 awnings. So you got these 2 double tracks. And you just drop your mounting bolts down in here. Matter of fact, I got some open all ready to go because I'm fixing to roll this card out there. But if you're interested in how they mount, these drop down in here. And if you was mounting this on a regular rack, like with one of these brackets, you put 4 of them in right there, lock it down, and then this mounts across the top. What I'm gonna be doing is mounting this bracket to the side of the tent. So this will be mounted kind of, this is the reverse angle, but we're gonna mount it probably something like, trying to utilize these holes right here on the back, but they got slots, so I'll actually be able to adjust it and slide it up and down. And the kit actually comes with 3 of these, so you don't have to run just 2. I don't know if I'll run all 3, to be honest, because this is such a lightweight awning. I don't know if I'm gonna need one in the middle. And then if I can do all this with one hand, I'll show you really quick what you get with these. It's just like, it's the same stuff you would get if you ordered like the standard full-size 270 awning that they have, and they have several to choose from, but this is called their Trail Series, and it's super lightweight. That's it right there. See the color of that fabric? It's gonna look really good on my gray Tacoma. But you get your light wire, and what is really cool that I noticed about this one, and this is the first time that I've noticed it, if I can do this with one hand, they switched all the connectors for their lights to USB-C, which is absolutely awesome. No more of those round, you know, old school plugs for these awnings. So these all plug up, and then you got one USB on the end of it, and then there's an actual switch right here where you can turn your lights on and off. And they may change colors and stuff, I'm not sure. You get your tie-down straps right here. All the mounting hardware is right here with the tools to do it. And then I can't remember what's in this one. Let's see. This might be your straps to tension it. No, these are the stake down straps. High-vis orange, paracord with the stakes that you put down in the ground. I'm not sure if I've ever used or had to use my stakes, but if it gets really windy, it's good to have this bag with you to be able to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna do that with mine, and then we're gonna mount it up. And let me show you the other. So these boxes here are the 102 liter, I believe. And I'll put on the screen right here exactly what they are on their website. You can check it out. But let me show you, I've got 2 of their other ones too. They have some, I believe, 50 liters, and I've already got them mounted in the truck. Seeing all these leaves on the ground out here. Look at this, leaves everywhere. It's getting me excited for fall, but let me show you what I got in the back seat. So this is how I've got them mounted for now. And this is their 50 liters, and see how you're able to mount these through that little side slot. I've got some T-tracks that I put back here in my rear seat delete, but then you can come right here. They've got latches, and these hold a lot. Look at this. Look how deep they are down in there. and they are roto-molded, so they're not like a two-piece setup. You got your lid and you got your base. These are watertight, airtight. They've even got a drain over here if you was to fill them up with water, or well, I'm assuming you could put ice in these if you wanted to and use it as a cooler. But these are super great. They've even got a nice weather seal around the top, so once you shut it and latch it, it's good to go. It's even got a tie-down slot here in the front too. But this is what I'm running in the back seat currently, how I'm gonna be doing this. And I may change this a bit because I'm working on a way to run our AC to the setup that I showed you guys, I think in last week's episode, without having the AC outside of the truck or inside the camper. I'm thinking that I printed something that we're gonna test out today, hopefully in this video, where I can keep the AC unit in the back seat back here of my truck and run the hoses through this back window into the camper, so we got heat or AC in the back of the camper. This is the tracks we're going to be mounting those new brackets to. So one will go down here somewhere, one will go down here somewhere, and then we're going to go up. And I'm probably going to be taking off my top racks on this today because we're going to be adding solar. I ordered the solar panels. They should be here in a week. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, get it out of the way. And when the solar gets here, we're going to be putting solar on the top of this thing and being ready to go. I've actually been 3D printing all kind of stuff for this truck this week because it's been so hot. If you guys remember that video a couple weeks ago, I ended up reprinting the smiley faces and I made some covers for my ditch lights. Let me show you. So my ditch lights, I made the same style covers, but I did these that say TRD, and I added a little red band around it so that it kind of tied in with my new smiley face. I was able to finally teach myself how to add a tongue to it and have, you know, 3 colors. So I got the yellow, the black, and the red on those prints. But it turned out pretty cool. It's a lot of yellow up there. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. But I got that 3D printed. I've got some stuff 3D printed that we're going to test out today for the AC. And then we should have this thing buttoned up and just one step closer to having a lightweight setup to go camping. So far, everything that I've added to this setup has been pretty lightweight. I'll show you that 3D print that I made for the back window. It turned out okay, as long as it fits good. So this is, I even added some, I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but I added some octagon cutouts to the front of it. So this will be facing inside the camper. And I added a wire loom pass through, whatever you want to call this thing. I added a hole for one of those there that I got it screwed in. And I got it with a bump out because this is going to stick all the way from the camper through the back glass of the truck and into the back seat of the truck where the AC will be. And I guess I can, if I can do this with one hand, I'll show you kind of what I'm looking at here. And I know this video is kind of all over the place already, but I didn't really plan on filming all this, but I like to be able to share you guys what I'm doing as I'm doing it sometimes. So I got these holes cut out where they fit pretty tight, like that. So now you can kind of see what we're going for. And that's the drain tube that goes on the back of the AC. So if you remember watching that video, this is a blower that comes from the AC. I got the AC down here in the bag, or I'd show you. This is going to push the air in, and then this is your intake that recirculates basically the air in the cab. And this is all you're going to see through that opening of the back glass, or, you know, the back window of the camper that connects to the cab of the truck. This part sticks through to the back seat, and then these extend, and I'm going to have the AC mounted somewhere back there. That's why I said I might change it up a little bit, because I've also got to have a way to put vents that go out the back window. And I'm going to 3D print something. I'm going to try to anyway, 3D print some little vents that hang out of the back window of the truck on like the side passenger windows. And I could kind of roll it up in there and hook the exhaust up so that I can keep the AC going back in the back seat of the truck, pumping heat or, you know, AC, whatever we're using it for, into the camper. And I don't have to worry about the AC unit. You know, I didn't want to leave the Cybertank just sitting on top of the truck just in case, you know, it rains or whatever. And I also picked up this from Cybertank. I think this one's 12 volt to the 48 volt or whatever that it takes to run that AC. And instead of running it with the AC plug that I already have when you do that, when you plug in something that runs off DC, and you've got one of them big black boxes on an AC cord so you can plug it into your wall at home or whatever, that little step down, you lose a lot of energy and a lot of efficiency by doing that. So they come out with this thing, which this end plugs directly to the back of the AC unit, and then these go to a 12-volt battery. So the plan is I'm going to have this mounted in the box back there with the Blue Eddy. This converts the energy from the Blue Eddy, that 12-volt right here that comes through here, and then it pushes it out into the right voltage and current for the AC. That's the plan anyway. We'll see once I get everything done, but this is all staying pretty lightweight. I mean, these plates, I'm using ASA, so it won't, it'll last, but you can see this was my first attempt to do it, my little test piece or whatever, but it's super lightweight. It don't weigh much at all. As you can see in this week's episode, I'm kind of just firing from the hip, kind of going through everything that we're fixing to be doing, because I really wanted to be putting out an actual camping video of this setup with you guys. But then the awning showed up a couple of days ago, and I waited on the brackets. The brackets came in today, and I think it'd be nicer to go ahead and go camp once I have the awning set up. So I put off going camping this weekend so I could stay here. Today's Friday, and I can get all this installed. Maybe squeeze out a trip this weekend. I don't know. Hopefully if the weather's good, but we're definitely going to be filming that first adventure trip in that thing, an overnighter up in the mountains very soon. So let me get all this installed. Hopefully you guys got a gist of what I'm fixing to install on the truck, and I'm just going to get it done, and then I'll show you how it turns out. We'll open the awning. I'll show you kind of the differences between these lightweight awnings versus their other ones. Their other awnings are amazing. I love the fabric. I love how they've got that hexagon pattern all over it. I thought it was really cool. I'm not sure if that pattern's on this lightweight one, but it being that much lighter for this one versus the other one, and I'm trying to go with a lightweight setup, this was definitely the way for me to go. Everything that I show you in today's video, I will have links and discount codes for in the video description with openroad4wheeldrive.com. So y'all make sure you check them out. Let me get this set up, and then I'll show you how it turned out. I have literally got sweat all over this from me just hanging this up here. I'll admit, I was kind of on the fence at the beginning. Like I wanted to go lightweight, but I already knew how nice their other 270 awnings are, because I've ran them on my other trucks. We just put one on my uncle's truck a few episodes back, and I absolutely love that awning. But I wanted to go lightweight, and I was kind of on the fence about going this option. I am so glad that I went with this Trail Series. Look how thin this profile is on the side of my truck. I'm okay with having a big 270 awning, but I'm not a fan of how big they look on the side of my truck, especially these smaller Tacomas. Bigger F-150s and stuff like that, they don't look as bad. But to me, having a huge awning hanging off the side of the truck, I don't know, it doesn't look as good to me. This turned out perfect. It's almost the same thickness as their super thin tent that I've got on top of this camper. So it fits up good. You can see that it's mounted right to the side of the actual tent itself. So if you're running the tent, if you're not running this aluminum camper shell, which these things are awesome, definitely check them out. But if you're running just a regular rooftop tent, that having it like this, as I said earlier, makes it perfect so you can actually take the tent and the awning off all together at the same time, and you never have to go back and readjust the awning whenever you're setting everything back up. It stays in the perfect position every time. And when I say adjust it in, the perfect position, what I mean is these 270 awnings, you'll see in just a minute, they fold around the back, and they're designed to completely cover the tailgate so that you can, camp, cook, whatever on the tailgate. And you have to make sure that's square, because if you mount this tent too far back, then you're not going to get a perfect, 45-degree angle with your tailgate. It's either going to stick out too far, or it's going to be too close on one end, and then this end's going to stick out too far. But either way, I ended up going with just 2 brackets. I did 3D print me a little standoff for each bracket, and I'll show you up close in just a minute. I only did that because I wanted maximum clearance in between the back of the awning and the shocks that are on the outside of this tent that opens up and down, and I wanted to make sure everything cleared. It looked like it was going to clear just fine without them, but I went ahead. I like to customize just about everything I do, so I want to show you guys that in this episode. And I've also got the AC kind of plumbed in using that 3D plate that I made, so I'll show you guys. If I was super confusing earlier about what it's going to do or how I'm going to use it, I've got it set up now, so hopefully I can show you and you can get a better understanding of it. But let me show you the outside of this before we open it, and then we'll pop it open. You can see what it looks like. I have opened it already, spoiler. The fabric looks really good against this gray Tacoma. So I can get you guys up close and you can get a better view of how thin this 270 actually is. I mean, this is my hand around a full length 270 awning. Here it is against the tent, and let's see if I can get a shot down the side so you can see kind of how I did that little step off. See how it kind of kicks off the side there, and it hugs way closer if you just use the bracket. Let me see if I can show you guys the little spacer that I made. See this little black disc right here? Well, that's just something I 3D printed because I wanted to step off the plate. Here's the plate, and hopefully I can get the camera in there to show you. But the plate is designed, it kind of mounts flat up against the tent. And you see these tents have this nice thick weather seal. I guess let me move the camera so you can actually see it. When you open and shut the tent, and I just didn't want that to ever interfere and come down and touch it, because this bracket will stick up just a hair above the top. So you have to clear that every time you open and shut it. And just for a better peace of mind, I went ahead and made those spacers. And I will say that it mounted perfectly right here. You can see the bottom. If I can move this bag up a little, see how it is? I was worried that my door was gonna hit, but watch this. It looks like it hit, but it didn't hit. So the bag is actually touching it, but you can stick your finger in between the actual bracket and the opening here, the door here. So the door don't actually hit it. What it's touching right now is just the bag. When this thing is completely opened, it doesn't touch anything. So I was shocked that that cleared that well. Let me shut it right here and I'll show you the back side of it. So from the back, you get a better view of how much it actually sticks off. Not too bad. As y'all can see, I did take off my roof rack. I got to clean the top of this camper because I've got those solar panels coming soon, and I'm going to film that, I think, for you guys. I'm putting two 200-watt solar panels across the top of this that are going to feed down to the Blue Eddy to help keep that thing charged up, because now that we've got the AC and a heater and stuff in there, we're going to need to keep it charged as much as possible. Another thing I think I'm really going to like about this awning is the simplicity of it. There's only one strap that comes with it. This is the strap that was in that bag that I showed you guys earlier. So you get the one strap, and you get the one USB cord that has all the hookups on one end that'll tie right into the corner for every light that's up on the awning. And it's really long, as you can see, so you can plug it into a power bank or if you've got onboard power. But that simplicity is going to be nice. The zippers are the same quality zippers. Even though this is a lighter, cheaper version than their other 270 awnings on their website, I thought that the quality might suffer on it a bit too. That's another reason I might have been on the fence a little bit about going this route. But so far, the same bag, the same zipper. The material is a little bit different, and the bracket is not as thick. You know, their other ones, these brackets are really thick, and it's like almost like a big triangle, you know, a big strut basically that goes up under these bars. These are just a simple bar. It looks like it's maybe about 3 or 4 inches tall, and everything is really lightweight. Got the same 3 straps up under here that hold it on. And another thing about mounting it like this with these brackets, as you can see, look how much taller it is above my head. Usually when you're mounting these using the regular brackets that these come with off of just some rails, it's either way too high up because you've got it like up by the tent or kind of above the tent basically, or you've got the brackets flipped over and it's got it way too low and you got to kind of crouch. This puts this at the perfect height for me. Undo those 3, then everything flops down. Grab this corner here, and it does have the legs built in. I'll show you those. And then it just folds out. And then when you get back here, this is the area that I was talking about that you need to make sure that it's square against the tent. So if you've got your awning too far shifted either way on the other side, when it comes time to pull this around to get it square against your tailgate, you're either going to be way too far out here, or it's going to be way too tight on this end and actually create a gap on the other side. You don't want that. Here's that one strap that it comes with. It's got their logo on it, and it's all this is just a pull strap. So you hook it to the loop here, and I am going to put a loop somewhere on here. I've got some T-track kind of eyelets that I can put here. For now, I'm just going to hook it right here, this is where our rain pole, fly pole goes for the tent. So that won't be where I permanently do this. Once you get it there, you cinch this thing down tight, give it a few snugs, and now you can see it's standing completely on its own. There's no legs out. Now, if you wanted to level it out and get it to where if it's gonna rain, you can tilt one side up to get rain shed off one area. You can do that with the legs, and I'll show you, but let me plug the lights up. We'll pop a few legs down and I'll show you the material on this thing. The material is nice. It is thinner than the other material that comes on it, but it's not like, it's really good quality. It feels the same. It's just, maybe the other one looks so much different because it's the black hexagon patterns that they do, which looks really good. But this looks really good with this truck, I think. So now I'm gonna open up the hatch. It'll open fully. I just wanted to make sure it didn't pinch anything there. So I got full access to the back of the truck. I can get some lights on back here. I got these KingPin lights. Let me turn them all on so we can see what we're doing. And now what I'm gonna do is plug up the built-in lights. So every one of these bars that come across here have a leg that drops down just like that. And then there's a built-in LED track. And I'll show you guys up close once I plug them up. But these actually plug up right here. You got 1, 2, and I'm so glad they switched to USB-C. 3 and 4, and then you've got your on and off button. And this is a sensor touch button, so you can touch it with your thumb, hold it down, and actually dim the lights. Now I'm just gonna plug up the other end into my power port. All right, I got the power plugged up to my power port in there. And well, I accidentally just touched them. It turned them on. You could probably see that. And if you drop the legs down, you can actually see the lights run all the way down the track right here. And then the legs just pull straight up in there. And as you can see, none of the legs are down, and this thing is fully set up. And I can now also still get into this, like I was mentioning earlier, and it doesn't touch it. I can fully open this thing up and get into the side of this if I needed to. And I've got my KingPin lights out here for even more light. So when we're setting up, this thing is pretty cool. Let me walk you guys around it really quick with it fully set up, and then I'll show you my AC system on the inside and a few things left that I got to do to have it completed before we take it on its first trip out. So I went ahead and popped the tent up. That way we could get a full view of how this thing's going to look. And this is actually the first time I'm getting to see the tent open and the awning installed at the same time. I did find a problem that I'm gonna have to address, and I'll show you guys. It's nothing major, but I'll show you once we climb up in there and I'll show you the AC. The rainfly pole holders, I'm gonna have to kind of bracket them up, I think, because the awning, when the awning is open, I can't get my rainfly poles into the little adapter like this guy right here. See how the pole, it sticks in there, and then you bend it up to go up to the tent. Well, now that I got this awning here, when it's open, the awning blocks that. So I'm probably gonna have to make me a bracket that comes up, and I'll show you a little bit better once we climb up in here. But I wanted to show you guys the underside of this thing. It is really nice. I apologize for the traffic. Everybody's waking up this morning and getting on the road. But you got all the tie down points. The fabric is still really good. To be, this is, I guess, considered their lightweight, budget friendly option for the 270 awning. You wouldn't tell that it's a budget friendly one by being able to feel it, because it feels really good. But it's got all the tie downs right here for if you need to stake it down for wind. But as you can see, it's fully open without any of the legs kicked down. There's what it looks like from the top. But if you wanted to kick legs down to kind of level it out, you would just reach up, grab a leg. They fold out and they swing down. They got a little pivot point right here that swings down, and you twist them. And then when you twist it like this, it slides down, and then you can pick it up if you need to, and then you just twist the leg and it'll lock it to wherever you need to lock it to. So I'm trying to do this with one hand on the camera. Let me pick up a little bit, twist. There we go. And you can lock it, and you just level the legs out. And you can do that to all of them if you wanted to, or just one or two of them. Kick it down, twist, slide it down, and we'll pick up just a little bit and twist it, try to get it level. But then you can see, if I step back, you can see how the poles go down. It does have the logo on it, but it's real small right here on this one flap. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. One of the legs is actually hidden above my door here, and it goes out over that way. You got another leg here. This will swing out and go down. You can pick up, tighten it just like that, and it'll lock it down. You can walk around, get them all level. Now we'll hop up in there and I'll show you what it looks like from the top down. And I'll show you the AC system that I've got going. So I actually don't have the AC going. I don't have it hooked up completely yet, but I wanted to show you that print that I made. And now you can kind of see what I was going for. So that print, I designed it to fit right in the track for this window. This window is slid over. And this back window, this is the window on the actual camper. And then you also, you know, I've got my truck bed window, or the back cab window, open on the truck. And this goes straight into where the back seats are. This is the wire that I showed you guys, that little port that I put in here. And this is the wire that goes to this booster. I think earlier I might have called it an inverter, but that's not what it is. This is a DC to DC booster. So it takes your 12 volt and it steps it up to a 48 volt is all this does. And it just makes it so I can run this off of just DC. I'm not having to go through an AC conversion to get it to run this. It's going to be way more efficient, but this is going to be mounted in here. And I'll show you really quick, if some of you guys are watching that didn't watch the last few episodes. This is the powerhouse for the whole shebang in here. All the lights, even my little twinkle lights that we got up here. All the power is run off of this Blue Eddy. And I've got a DC to DC charger that runs from the alternator. We're fixing to add solar, and I've got everything hooked up. But this little booster box right here is going to mount in here. And the plan is the wire. Let me slide this back where it goes. So this wire is, I'm not going to have to take this wire in and out of this plate. And in just a minute, we'll walk in here and I'll show you how I've got the AC set up in the back of the truck. But this plate is going to, once we get to camp, this plate and this wire is all going to be one piece. I'm going to pop it in there, shut the window against it so it's got a nice seal. It's sealed up really good with the truck window seal, actually gaskets it in really good. I actually designed this plate to be the same thickness as the glass, so there's no air gaps or anything. So anyway, this is going to stay with it, and I'm going to put probably an SAE plug right here, or some sort of quick connection plug. And then this will be mounted in the box with all my electrical stuff. These will be running to the 12 volt port on the Blue Eddy. And then this will have a quick connection that'll hook to another wire that stays permanently connected to this box right here where it goes. All I did was cut the terminals off that were already here so that I can add a quick disconnect wire. And I'll have that wire just tucked back in here. And when we set up, I'll be able to hop in here, quickly plug this up and run the AC unit. And then we should have AC, and I'll show you in the back seat really quick in just a minute how I plan to vent the other air out of the truck, so that I'm doing all of this so that that thing stays out of the weather, but it's also not in here with me taking up space while we're camping, because you can see I've got a lot of room in here. This is the bed fully slid over, and I'll be able to control that AC unit. I won't have to go in and out of the truck because it's got a remote. So this remote, I'm actually going to put some Velcro on the back of this and have a few Velcro places in here, so when I'm up here sleeping, I can attach it and control the AC or the heat, or I can just keep it down here when I've got it set up in camp mode, which I've got it set up in camp mode right now, kinda. And I can show you really quick the awning from up here. See, you can see the top of it, how nice it is. It's a really nice 270 awning. I mean, it gives a lot of coverage, and you can see how these tent poles, they go in these little pockets and they bend up. Well, if you look right over here, over the tailgate window, you can see where the awning, this is the 270 awning, when it's folded out like this, see how I got it nice and square and it comes right down through here? Well, this is where my bracket should go for these rainfly poles. They go up and they've got it so I can pin this out. Well, this blocks it. You can see a little bit better now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fabricate me just a little bracket to braze this up, to get it up to about this high, just high enough to clear it so it's not sticking up too bad. And it should be fine even when the tent is shut. It's not going to stick up past the top of the tent. You probably won't be able to notice when I'm done making that little bracket. But that way I can still put my rainfly poles up and we'll be good to go and still be able to open up the rainfly above this 270. You can see here how much, I mean, you can see my hand on this thing, how big it actually is. This thing is absolutely huge. It's going to give some good out of the weather area and a good shade for when we're camping. I can't wait to take this thing out for the first time. We're so close now. I got some wiring to do today, getting this thing buttoned up, and I got a few more things to 3D print. Let me show you. So back here in the back seat, or where it used to be a back seat, I deleted my rear seats years ago. I mean, I haven't ran back seats in this thing in a while. I put them in for my daughter's wedding because I knew people were going to be riding with me to the wedding a few weeks ago. And that was the first time I think the seats have been in this truck since 2021 maybe. But you can see what I'm going for. I've got it right now just set up on these boxes. But here's that plate. And the reason I made this extension off the plate is because I wanted it to poke in through the little gap out here. Let's see if I can show you. See the gap in between the bed and the cap? You can, if you peek down in there, you can see how I've got that 3D print so that it shoots all the way through. And then once we get set up to camp, I can actually hit the button on my back window and slide it over, and it'll touch this, and it'll give me a really good seal all the way around it. It's not going to be a weather tight seal, but I don't have to worry too much about rain and stuff because I've still got this tent that hangs over the whole top of the truck. So I'm really not worried about having to seal this part up. Once it's shut, I mean, the gaps are going to be so small, I don't think we're going to have to worry about anything getting in. I do think that I'm going to maybe build a more permanent shelf back here for me to keep this AC on while we're at camp. Let me show you how I'm going to vent it out. And that's the last step in this process I've got to do. I've got this kind of just set up so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm going for. I want to be able to crack this window, but I want to print something that's the same width of this window, that when I raise this window up, I'll have a plate here. And then this plate is going to have the vent holes in it so that, let me open this door. Those are probably going to drop down. So when I roll this window up, I want to just have a plate that goes right in here, and then it'll hook those vents up right here. So these vents will come right out. This is the exhaust, and this, all this does is circulate exhaust air, you know, the outside temperature, and keeps the coil in here going, and, you know, keeps everything flowing nice and neat. It keeps the heat out of the cab of the truck. And by doing it this way, I won't have to worry about weather or anything like that. There is so much traffic going down the highway over there right now. I feel like every time I turn the camera on, motorcycles drive by. I apologize for all the noise, but that should be a really easy way. And I'm going to make it so that all of this packs up really nice and neat. I can keep it back here somewhere in the truck. I want to be as efficient as possible when I'm setting up at camp. So when I get to camp, I want to be able to hook this stuff up and walk away and leave it alone. And you can see, let me just unhook these. Now you got an idea how these tubes are going to work. I can show you a little bit better with them out of my way. So here's the back of that AC. And if I build me just a shelf here, maybe something that I can still pull my open road boxes in and out so that I can still get my camping gear. I don't want to have this sitting on here and then need something out of this box and have to move it. But if I build me just a step up something here, I could set this on and still slide it out. I think that would work really good. And I'm gonna, the last thing I've got to address on this is the condensation drain tube. This AC unit, if you've seen the video, it's got two ports that you can connect to with this little tube to get the condensation out. Just like any AC, you're gonna have condensation that builds up and you're gonna wanna drain it out. My plan, I've got two different routes I'm probably gonna go. One of them is the seat holes that bolt through this bottom of this truck. The bolts are in it, but the seats are out. But if I take one of those bolts out, it'll give me a clear open pass through that goes straight to the ground under the truck. And I may be able to 3D print me some little funnel that screws into one of those that I can just hook this hose to and it just drip out up under the truck. Or worst case scenario, I've got this little area back here. I could literally just put me like a 2-liter bottle in here and just stick this down in there. As long as the tube is lower than up here, all of that condensation is just going to go out. And if I do the bottle thing, all I have to do is keep an eye on it, make sure it don't get too full, and empty the bottle out. But I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. And it's a nice clean way for me to install the AC or the heat. Remember, this is AC, this is a heater, this is a fan, and this is a dehumidifier. So all of this is in one package, and I'd rather keep it in out of the weather instead of sitting on top of the truck. Because you remember when I first reviewed that thing, I think my plan was I was going to keep it on the cab of the truck up here on the rack somewhere and have it shooting in to the tent up here at the top. But I think this is just a much cleaner, more efficient way, and it'll be a quick, easy way for me to get this thing set up at camp. And another thing that I haven't really hit on a whole lot, but was the whole reason that I went this route with this camper, is I'm mounting all of this. Every wire has a quick disconnect plug that attaches from the bed of the truck to the camper. In all reality, if I want to take this camper off with the tent, with the awning, the whole camper, the whole shebang, just pick it up, there's 6 bolts in the clamps on the side of this thing that I can undo. Then I can unplug my wires. I've got quick disconnects, like I said, on all my wires. Even my third brake light, I've got a quick disconnect. I can quickly go down to my gantry, my hoist, unbolt this thing, unplug my wires, and lift this whole camper off, pull my truck out from up under it, throw my Diamondback bed cover back on it, and I don't have to drive around with a full overland setup year round. That's the plan for now, but it is so lightweight. I don't think it may weigh a little bit more than my Diamondback setup, but not very much. This aluminum setup, I'm telling you guys, this is the lightest truck camping setup that I have built out so far, and I'm okay with running this year round basically at this point. All right, y'all, that is the new Trail Series 270 lightweight awning by Open Road 4-wheel drive. If you go to their website, you'll find it in their 270 awning category. You'll see all their other awnings. They've got different options that you can choose from. But if you're looking for this lightweight, thin one, it is called the Trail Series. And I'll have everything linked in the video description. I also have discount codes with Open Road. They've been a sponsor of the channel for years now. So you can use those discount codes and save on everything they've got, I believe, on their website. Even this camper. Like if you bought this camper, you could use my discount code and actually save a lot on that. So if you want to take advantage of some of those deals, everything will be linked in the video description. We're one step closer. I know I've said that like the last 4 or 5 videos. I'm itching just as bad as you guys are to see this thing out and actually camp out of it. I'm ready to take it camping. But I think I'm happy now with me. I'm fixing to button up the vent that I've got to make for the AC in the back window, but the AC is going to turn out great. I think I like that plate. I like the way that I've got everything out of the way and it's not piling up in the camper with me, because it is a short bed Toyota Tacoma at the end of the day, and there's not a whole lot of room in there to begin with. So I'm going to finish buttoning this thing up. I'm going to get everything ready. Hopefully the next video you guys see on this truck, we're going to be camping somewhere. I'm wanting to go do some crappie fishing. It's getting really close to September right now, so I'm ready to go out on the lake, camp by the lake, do some crappie fishing. So hopefully that'll be the next video. And while we're set up, if I make any changes, look for them in that video. I'll change what I have to change. You know, I'll do what I have to do in that video to show you any updates that I've made. And if I modify those rear brackets to get those up, I'll show you how I did that in the next video. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you're new to my channel, I upload every Monday at 6 p.m. So y'all make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next Monday at 6 o'clock. Peace.